Hi, I'm Maida from Datacoves and welcome to our Getting Started video series. In today's video, we're going to explore a practical workflow with dbt and cover some useful accelerators and shortcuts. Let's get started by creating new sources and models from the loan schema inside of our raw database. As you can see, this schema has two tables, personal loans and zip coordinates. We could do this by heading into the transform directory, into models, into L1 inlets, and manually creating the loans directory, as well as manually creating and writing out the SQL model and source YAML files. Or we can make use of the dbt-coves generate sources command. You can run this command by typing it into the terminal, or by selecting more and selecting generate sources. This will populate the command into the terminal and run it for you. The command is parsed through all of the schemas within raw. All we need to do is select the schemas that we want. We can type A to select all of the schemas, or we can use our arrow key to traverse the schemas and use the spacebar to select and deselect. Once we have selected the schema that we want, which is loans, we hit enter. Now we see the two tables that are in the schema. They are already selected, so we can hit enter again. If the tool detects a variant column, it will ask you if you want to flatten it. I will select yes for all. In the blink of an eye, this tool has created the loans directory, the SQL for all of the tables, as well as the source files. If we click into the files that it created, we can see that it wrote out mostly everything for me. I didn't have to spend any time writing out models, names, or column names. All we need to do is go in and write descriptions. The same thing goes for the SQL. This tool auto-generated this for me. This extension has been configured to look through the raw database, but there is flexibility with the database and schema parameters, or by going into the .dbt-coves folder and making changes to the config.yaml file. Now we have models that are ready to be executed, and we have many ways to run a model. I'm going to go into the personal loans model that we just created, and I can run this model by right-clicking and selecting Run dbt model, or I can select the running man icon in the top right-hand corner, or my favorite way is using the Run Current button on the bottom bar. Now let's open another pre-existing model. If you know the name of the model, you could use Command P to search for it and quickly pull it up. I'm looking for country populations. Another accelerator that you might make use of is the Autocomplete feature. The Autocomplete feature will speed up your coding by providing relevant suggestions, making your scripting process faster and more accurate. For example, if I begin to type source and select the second option, it'll bring up the source function for me. I can also continue by hitting the quotations and it'll bring up all of my options. I'm going to select raw and it will bring up country populations for me. The same goes for the ref function. If I begin to type ref, it'll give me the auto population and it will bring up the function for me. We can also use Command Enter to preview the CTEs that we are writing. By highlighting the CTE and selecting Command Enter, we'll bring up the query results. As we write our SQL, there is linting enabled that will check our SQL code, ensuring that it can catch any mistakes and keeps us adhering to best practices. We can catch even more errors and debug by clicking the Compile dbt Preview button in the top right-hand corner. This will bring up a side-by-side view of the compiled SQL, even if the model has yet to be run. If the model has been compiled, we can right-click and select Open dbt Target Folder Compiled SQL to bring up the target folder. Lastly, we will be covering how to test our models. Tests associated with this model are defined in its source YAML. To test our model, we can click the checkmark icon in the top right-hand corner. We can also select More on the bottom bar and scroll down to see various testing options. And lastly, we can click on the Datacoves Power User icon and run individual tests or all of the tests associated with this model. To close your tabs, you could click on the X, or a keyboard shortcut is Control-Option-W. That's all for today's video with dbt and Datacoves. I hope these insights into creating and managing models will enhance your workflow. Thank you for watching, and for more information, please please visit our documentation page.